All right, welcome back. I'm Trevor Horn. It is the third segment. We're going to talk some track and field now. We have Liberty head track and field coach Ryan Renz. Ryan, we're not football anymore. We're deep into the track and field season. You have the current invitational coming, hopefully on Friday, tomorrow, weather permitting, which is always the first. I mean, the East Bakersfield Invitational is the first big one in town, but I think you really kind of dive into it. And for us, really, it's the first one we're able to go to also because, we're so deep into winter sports playoffs. So for you, you excited to kind of get this thing going?
Yeah, really hoping we're going to have some good weather. That's our biggest concern right now is how the weather's going to be. It's always fun, first varsity meet with a true championship schedule.
Yeah.
And see where the kids are. You
Yep.
get to compete varsity against varsity. Last week was kind of a fun, thing at EB with all the different levels. This week it'll be for real and see if we can get some good marks.
And Zach, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did we pull you away from the blackjack table, buddy? I'm sorry.
I wasn't winning anyway, so don't worry about it.
Oh, no, Ellen's going to be mad, man. How are you? So Zach
we're
Ewing's
all right.
on the line. He's out in Las Vegas for the WAC tournament, like we said earlier in the show. Zach, how's everything going for you guys? And say hello to Ryan. He's got an earpiece in.
Hi, Ryan.
How you doing, Zach?
We're setting up for our own show out here and running into some technical difficulties, so you know how happy that makes our Lord and Overseer, Louis Amistoy. But other than that, we're doing okay.
No, he's not throwing anything around, is he?
I'm not actually with him right now, so I'm safe.
Good. Hey, Zach, before we really kind of dive in with Ryan here, obviously, I think everybody knows last night Kern County basketball teams went 0 for 7. The Central section went 1 for 28 in the Southern California regional bracket. As you're looking at that, I mean, I'll get into my soapbox later in the show, but while we have you on, I mean, does that show a change that needs to be made now at the state level?
Well, I think really the problem is the change that was made. Now, is the Central section ever going to be as good as the Southern section at basketball? No, I don't think any section, any particular region in the United States is probably as good as the Southern section at basketball. So the problem that happened this year was that the way section commissioners were able to rank their teams and submit those rankings to the state CIF pushed teams like Long Beach Poly and Mater Dei into Division II. Right. And there's other examples, but to me, those are the most egregious ones. I mean, Long Beach Poly is a school with 5,000 students. It is the shining beacon of public school athletic programs in the entire nation. And we're having them play in Division II?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I mean, that's just silly. And it's not fair to a school like Lemoore that really is a Division II school and is having a great season and maybe a once-in-a-generation type season, and yet they go draw Long Beach Poly in the first round and played them pretty tough. But I mean, that's like, look, it's like being dealt a 12 in blackjack. Okay, it's just not a good hand.
Right.
And
there he goes with the blackjack reference. I told you, man.
Where is that?
I told you.
That happened to me 3 times last night. I'm just kidding.
Last night he's talking about today over breakfast.
the point being, well, you should have seen Jeff Evans at the buffet. That was the winning hand right
Better
there.
than 16.
But the point being, when you let the sections rank these teams, you get all sorts of screwy things and teams matched up in the wrong place. And I think what you were getting at with your question is, should the Central section be in Northern California? And that's one solution, I think, or one potential solution, or the 4-region solution that Jeff Cardoza has floated is another possible solution. But, I mean, really, in all honesty, the problem isn't so much with being in the South as it is with, number one, there were no great teams in the Central section this year. I think Ridgeview is the one team that maybe had a chance to be great, and they lost a couple of games at the end. But number two is that you have all these teams in the wrong divisions.
Yeah. Well, and I looked at the numbers too. All 80 games in the Southern section, boys and girls, 5 divisions, were filled. There was no buys in the SoCal regional opening round last night. There was 36 buys in NorCal, including 5 in each Division I, Division II, and Division III boys playoffs. And that in itself is incredible when you see the opportunity for not only more schools in the north to be able to play more basketball, or moving some teams like northern part of the Central Coast or the Central section up north and allowing more of the powerhouse of the southern section to be able to compete more too. But you see that in other sports too. Obviously, you see that in football a lot, where in the southern section they weed themselves out and they really kind of consider their own section championships a bigger prize than the state title sometimes too. I just see that as a big imbalance in the state right now, and I think last night really kind of showcased how imbalanced it really is.
In a lot of ways, the southern section is great for prep sports. I mean, it really is hyper competitive. You have so many great teams in every sport, but it's also it creates that imbalance in a lot of ways. I mean, if you counted every high school in the state of California, the southern section would have, I think, 40% of them, and yet there's 9 other sections. Right. And so that kind of creates that imbalance. Whoever gets paired with the southern section, which clearly you're not going to take San Diego section out of the south, so that's 2 sections there, or the LA City section, so that's a few more schools. All of a sudden, you've got this huge conglomerate of schools in Southern California that, and geographically, do you want to put Bakersfield in a bracket where they would have to play a team out of Reading or Chico? I mean, that's a lot of travel, and maybe that's.
Well, Reading in itself is from the northern section, so they wouldn't be there. But yeah, when you go all the way up to Marysville, sure, there's a lot of travel. When you go to the Bay Area, sure, there's a lot of travel. But I like the 4-region section that maybe you go all the way down to maybe, Newhall or, into like Granada Hills or something like that. And you kind of cut it off there and say, we're going to play them in this region. And that's going to be a lot of the central section. Maybe, those teams in the San Luis Obispo area that used to play in the central section, maybe they're in that too. And you get some of maybe the Modesto teams and you kind of put them in a region. Maybe that's a little bit more a better, more of a wide open region. But, obviously last night was a little different. Obviously, I think it kind of hit more to home for us here in Kern County in the central section. But like I was talking about, we had Navante and Frank Lomas and Isaac Olenek in the first 2 segments. And that's what's special about wrestling and what's near and dear to your heart, Ryan, is track and field, where you don't worry about divisions anymore. When you guys get to the state level, it's one champ in each event, and that's the great part about it.
Yeah, definitely. You find out who the best of the best is. There's no hiding. We get a chance. Everybody gets a chance to get there. Some people would say maybe we get too much of a chance in the central section when compared to the southern section with the great athletes they have. They're limited on their entries into that state meet, but at least we get a chance. We've done well when we've gotten there. Yeah, and we've kind of made the best of our opportunity. So
yeah, obviously the central section, Bakersfield in itself, Blake Haney won 2 state titles. Isaac Trevino won a state title last year. Go
to Buchanan, how many they've had in
the
last years.
Remember Asia's last name, I'm sorry. Cheney out of Stockdale. She won a state title before going off to Cal. So, it's not like Bakersfield and Kern County and, Hannah Waller up at Buchanan that you see these kids and they're not competing well at the state level. They're doing it.
Right.
And obviously Buchanan's got an advantage because they get that great facility day in and day out. Yeah. You realize that I graduated from Buchanan the year before they built that?
Yeah, you just missed out.
I did.
You probably broke some records if you were on that.
They said Trevor,
I would not have.
We can actually have nice things.
Zach, are you still there? Are you ordering food?
No, I'm not ordering food. I just ripped you a good one. You didn't even hear it.
I can't hear. Can you hear him?
Yeah, barely. He's faint, but I can hear him.
What did you say?
I said they waited until Trevor left, and then they said, now we can have nice things.
Oh, yeah. Funny guy. What's funny is my best friend graduated from the same year, and I went back, 4 or 5 years ago, and I saw the new baseball stadium they have there, and he pitched for them, and he was in the minors with the Indians for a couple of years, and he's like, and I was showing him all the pictures, he's like, where's mine? And I go, I don't know, man. He goes, they just completely forgot about us. But, hey, Zach, we're going to take a break. I know you got to get back and, worry about blackjack for the next few days. You'll be back next week, obviously. We're going to come back with Ryan and talk more track and field. Zach, any parting words before we head out?
Well, you may be dismayed to know, Trevor, that a lot of people in the state wrestling community want to see divisions at the state meet as well. So that could be on the horizon. It would break my heart to see it, but it could happen.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see that because just the whole spectacle that is Saturday night under the lights makes the state championship for the state of California at Rabobank Arena, obviously for the last decade plus, such a special a special night. And I think the same thing goes for the state finals in track and field at Buchanan every year.
I think that'd be a shame if they did that to wrestling. That's what makes it special. I mean, that's what the kid, you're number one in the state. there's no doubt. No one can take that away from you.
And obviously, you know, we won't get into football because you guys wouldn't have whined about a 2 AA title if you guys wouldn't have been able to get there.
Sure.
In football. All right, we'll be right back with Ryan Renz. Zach, go have fun. Obviously, you guys check out everything Zach, Lois, and Jeff are doing at BigSoul.com, and then always pick up your daily paper. So they got a bunch of great multimedia stuff going on for Cal State basketball over the next 3 days down there in Vegas. So make sure you check out everything else. Obviously,
yeah, we'll be on the air
when you
right
tabbed
after
into
you, Trevor,
this, you can tab over and see what they're doing with video down there in Vegas. So Zach, thanks. Have fun. Drive safely back, man.
All right, Trevor.
All right, cool. We'll be back with Ryan Renz a little bit. We're going to talk more current invites. We'll be right back.
One thing about living